Pick me up when I'm feeling down. I'm needing love and I need you now. Now. You pull me up when I'm on the ground. Wanna be somewhere, wanna be somewhere with you. Wanna find you there, and I'll be right in front of you. Wanna be somewhere out with you, take you there. The sun is shining. Wanna be somewhere with you. Somewhere. I know it all, I can see you now. I feel you up when it gets too loud. Wanna be somewhere with you. Wanna be somewhere, be somewhere, somewhere. You know I need you to make me somewhere, somewhere.
Wow, wow, I had no idea that the music was gonna be so offensive to everyone today, so I'll go ahead and let you guys listen to silence for the next 7 minutes until we get started at 3 o'clock. Woohoo. Oh my gosh, I can't even woohoo. This is horrible. Happy Monday, you guys. We got about 2 minutes or less until we're gonna get started. We start at 3 o'clock on the hour Eastern time. I'm so excited to be with you guys today. If you would like to start dropping in the chat where you're calling in from, I would love to see that. And I'm sorry there's no music. I had it going and apparently it was spotty. So that's why it's a little quiet in here today, but hang in there. It's going to be a great afternoon. Awesome. I'm loving seeing where everyone's calling in from: Charlotte, Huntsville, Alabama, Oklahoma, Ontario, Canada, Virginia, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Hello. Is it cold up there right now? Hi, Stephen. It's a little old me. I love it. In Lake Worth. I love it. I'm actually over in the Palm Beach area today. Look at these awesome flamingos behind me. Not too far from me today. Alaska. Wow, Cora, that's amazing. Thank you for joining us. New Mexico. Awesome. I'm loving this. Is anybody actually doing the agent blueprint with John? We're on week 3 tomorrow. I'm just curious. Drop it in the chat. Yes, if you're doing agent blueprint. Yes. Awesome. Awesome. What are you guys thinking about that? It's going really well, right? It's really great information. Okay. This is awesome. Okay, well, it's 3 o'clock on my side. You guys seeing 3 o'clock on your side? Drop a yes in the chat. I like to keep my time well. That way I am utilizing your time and mine. Thank you in advance for bearing with me today with my voice not being fully here. I think it was like a cold or some sort of allergies or something. I was not, sadly, I can't say that it was St. Patrick's Day celebrations because I was not doing anything crazy like that. I had a little yoga retreat reunion this weekend, but it is St. Patrick's Day. So cheers to St. Patrick's Day. This is just electrolytes, I think, or like a hydration stick, and it happened to be green. So cheers to you guys. So I'm going to try and keep drinking because I feel like that keeps my throat wet and kind of helps with the sound. So it sounds like Marge Simpson. Yeah, all right, I'll take it. I was not allowed to watch. Fun fact. This is a fun fact for me, I guess. I don't know. I kind of laugh about it now as an adult, but everyone used to watch The Simpsons. But when I was a kid, I wasn't allowed to watch The Simpsons. I don't know why. So I never have watched it, but I do know who they all are. And I've seen like little clips here and there, but I never watched it. And I do know who Marge is. She's the mom, I think, if I remember. Anyway, happy Monday. Happy Monday. I'm so excited to be here with you guys. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Hope you had a great weekend. And for those of you who are doing John's Agent Blueprint, tomorrow is week 3. And you know, from what 10 to or 11 to 12:30. I think it's like Eastern, right? So hopefully you guys are taking part in that. And if you're not, surely you have a reason, and that's okay too. Quick housekeeping items on April. Ooh, let me get this link. I want to share this with you guys. If you have, has anybody been to Sync You? I just want to share the link really quick for this because we have another Sync You coming back up, and it is. I'm just going to drop this link in the chat. Long time ago, Susan. All right, that's okay. Okay, so Sync You is coming up in April, okay? April 15th to 17th. It is a 3-day training, okay? The first day is all on database, the second day is all on automations, and the third day is a full day of 8 hours of conversion with John. Okay. So if you have not been, if you can find it in your schedule somehow, some way, I promise you, you will leave there with money in the bank already, with appointments set and the confidence and everything that you need to be successful using this system. So if you can, get there in April. If you cannot, you can still look at that same link that I shared above here. And that is syncommunity.com/syncuniversity. And that will give you the rest of the dates if April does not work with you. And it'll tell you the locations. We usually are between like either Atlanta or Phoenix. I think we're doing one in Dallas this year also. But otherwise, we're in either Atlanta or Phoenix. So stay on the lookout for those. April 15th is our next one. We would love to have you there. We also have an online conversion day coming up in April as well. And that will just be like a half day, a couple of hours with John or myself. So, but that's not why you're here. You're here for conversion, role play, objection handling. So I want to make sure that we get started on that today. So thank you for being here. We're so excited to have you. We have got I always like to usually start with something out of a book that I've read because I'm a nerd. I like to read and I like to share what I've learned because it is usually impactful in some way in my life for sure. And I found that it could be and has been helpful for other people also. So having said that, there are 3 powerful interrupts that I want to share with you guys today to challenge your beliefs and shift your mindset towards success and wealth building in real estate. Why do I think this is important? Because I think if you don't believe in yourself or that these calls are going to make you the money that you want to make, it's going to be a lot more difficult to get there, right? Drop a yes in the chat if you believe that. It's really important for you to believe in yourself. It's important for you to believe in the system. It's important for you to believe in the scripts that we are providing you and all of the information that we're teaching you. You guys, this is not stuff that we just came up with. I mean, these are things that are coming from realtors who have been using this database for the past, I don't know, 7 or 8 years. We have thousands and thousands of agents that have come through these trainings and we've been practicing this and we change it and we tweak it and we make it better every year. So I really want to kind of just like challenge you on that and remember that you are not your thoughts. You have thoughts, right? So the best thing that I can advice that I could give you is to become an observer of your thoughts. What does it mean to be an observer of your thoughts? It just means that when you have a thought, you take a step back and you observe yourself. Is it your thought? Is it true? Is it someone else's thought? This is my puppy, Chewy. He's wild. And usually he doesn't make appearances, but sometimes he is going crazy under my feet. So here we are. Yes, Steven. Oh, Steven got to meet Chewy. He was famous. But having said that, you are not your thoughts, but we have lots of thoughts. And the same ones are coming in our head every single day, unless we have a pattern interrupt that shifts it. So do you think it would be helpful to have some pattern interrupts? Drop it in the chat. Yes. Let me know. It's really a lot more fun for me when you guys are interactive. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Stephen. Appreciate it. Heidi, I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay. So I'm just going to give you these 3 and then we're going to jump into it. I don't like to spend a whole lot of time on this stuff, but you know, the way that you're thinking and the way that you're going into things, energy is everything. It's everything. Whether your voice is perfect or your voice is cracking and you're losing it, if my energy is still coming through, you're going to feel it. Right. And so you need to realize that your energy is coming through everything that you do every day, whether it's positive or negative, is coming through. So if you're having hesitation and you're not feeling confident in what you're doing before you make the calls, then that's going to come through when you're making the calls. So if you're thinking, oh my gosh, I hope no one comes in this open house this weekend. I really don't even want to do it. Or I really don't want to pick up the phone today. I hope nobody answers. No one's going to answer, and very few people, if any, are going to come into your open house. I have experienced this myself. You are literally manifesting a horrible open house or a horrible phone dialing session. It doesn't have to be that way. So let's just think about that and take it into consideration. Like you actually are in control of these things if you can become aware as an observer of your thoughts. So the first powerful, like what I think is a really great pattern interrupt is ask yourself, would you work with you? Would you work with you? The interrupt is before you're making your next call, pause and ask yourself, if I were a buyer or seller, would I be excited to work with me? Would you? Like, just curious, would you be excited to work with you if you were a buyer or seller? And if the answer is, I just don't know. That's okay. But if you don't know, why don't you know? What is it that is holding you back? What is it do you think you know or need to know more of to be more confident that somebody wants to work with you, right? Again, this is like an observation of yourself and how do you feel? Like, would you work with you? And I'm sure we've all had moments that we wouldn't have worked with ourselves. Nobody's perfect. We all have room for growth. And that's okay. That's why we're here. We're growing every week, every day, every moment that we become an observer of our thoughts, right? Instead of becoming our thoughts, because thoughts become things. So if the interrupt is before making your next call, you're asking yourself, if I were the buyer or seller, would I be excited to work with me? The shift is confidence and conviction in your own value. And if you wouldn't be convinced, neither will they. So you have to show up as the agent that you would hire. Is this making sense? Drop it in the chat. Yes. Yes, Cora, you're not alone. I mean, we all have to tell ourselves this every day. So much sense. Ooh, Steven, you have the same last name as me. I love that. Yeah, good. I'm glad this is making sense because I feel like these are kind of some of those things that they're not as fun to talk about, but they're real and they're real important also. So let's keep it going. So we know we need to show up and add our value, but the way that we add the value is by being confident in ourselves, right? Yes, Suzanne, exactly. You have to remind yourself of your value, but you then not only remind yourself, but then you have to believe in your value. You have to believe that you are the best person for this job. You are the best person to be able to help that person through the buying stage and to into home ownership or selling or whatever the situation is that you're working them through. You have to believe that you are the one who can do it the best and that no one else in your market, no matter how much more money they make, no matter how many more listings they have, that they can't do it the way that you can do it because only you can do it your way. Right? This is like game changing. So, would you work with you? That's the first one. The second one is, what if every no was a $10,000 payday? It's the fear of rejection, right? That's why we don't want to pick up the phone. But what if every no got you one step closer to that $10,000 commission check? The shift here is that you have to detach from the outcome and focus on the process. The beauty is that we teach you the processes. We are teaching you how to have the conversations. We are teaching you what to say. That's why you're here. It's Monday. It's conversion call. It's objection handling. It's all of the things. But mindset is going to be the first thing to that. So you have to be able to detach from the outcome and focus on the process because each conversation is either a win or it's a lesson, but both get you closer to success. So you have to keep dialing. No just means next opportunity, right? That's it. Next opportunity. NO. On to the next one. Hang up, keep dialing. That's it. Like, don't overthink it. You don't have to attach meaning to something. You literally like take I had a conversation with a friend this weekend and this is like just sort of blew my mind. And if I'm going too deep, just hear me out for just a second because I think you'll catch this. She was complaining about something. I don't remember what it was. And I literally said to her, you realize that the only meaning that that thing or that person or that situation has is whatever you give it. If you can detach yourself from it and remove the meaning that you're giving it to it, it doesn't mean anything. So for someone to say no or to hang up on you, it's just next opportunity. That's it. And beyond that, what's kind of exciting about it is that it just leaves more room for the next person, right? And then you can use that anywhere in your life, whether it's picking up the phone to dial, whether it's a sour agent that you're working with on the other end of a transaction, whether it is a family member that is treating you poorly. You get to choose what you attach meaning to or don't give meaning to at all. So, next opportunity, that's the second one. And then the final one is, are you using real estate and treating it like a hobby, or are you a CEO? Now, I want you to be honest. Like, are you treating your calls like a business strategy or just something that you have to do? Drop it in the chat. The CEO or have to do. And it's okay. There's no right or wrong answers, right? But are you hobby? Yeah, do hobby or CEO? Hobby or CEO? Just curious. Because wealth isn't built by dabbling in something. Okay? Like the wealth, the reason that you came in to real estate, it's not built by being a hobbyist or dabbling here and there. It's not built by going to yoga with your friends at 10 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday and then having coffee after, and then like maybe you get to some real estate at 4 o'clock. That is not how this works. If you want to be a high performing CEO, then you need to act like a high performing CEO. And you need to be doing activities that a high performing CEO does, right? Stacy, I've learned I'm somewhere in the middle. I've been the CEO and working to get back to that. Stacy, also, guys, there's different seasons, right? And it's okay to give yourself a little bit of grace if you're in a different season right now. That's okay too. And Steven's definitely not a hobby. He was at SyncU for 3 days with us. He's definitely not a hobbyist. So just know, like, wherever you are in this, it's not right or wrong. It's not good or bad. It just is. And again, becoming that observer, that one that's aware of what's happening, and then you choosing what are you attaching meaning to, and then choosing where you're going to take action and redirect yourself, right? So if you're acting like a hobbyist, then you just need to stop dabbling, right? You need to be intentional and really start to take the disciplined action, which is what you're doing by being here right now on this call, learning what to say, how to have these conversations, and how to convert internet leads at a high level. Okay. So hopefully this is making sense because you really need a CEO mindset to operate like the business owner that you are. And you guys have to really think of yourselves as business owners because that is exactly what you are. There is no other industry that you can get into this easily with very little money down, unless you're a platform owner, then you're spending some money, but you're tenfold in return if you're actually making these calls. So I hope you're excited to be here and go through this today. I know I've seen some names on here that we've seen quite frequently. But if you're new and this is your first time on this call, drop it in the chat. Yes. It's like, yes, it's my first time. Stephen Dunn. Awesome. Love it. Welcome. And actually, I think it just says training manager on here. But for those of you who don't know, I'm Christine Dunn. I am a realtor full-time in Southwest Florida. I've been selling real estate since 2011. February of 2011, and I started using Sync in like 2018, 2019. I've been rocking it and using this to make really great money for many years. And I joined the Sync Live training team about 4 years ago. I can't believe the time is flying by like that. And I've been doing these online trainings, and then I fill in for John for our in-person trainings here and there. So again, super excited for you guys to be here with us on Monday. Newbie, I love it. Welcome, Mira, David, Stephen, Stacy. I love it. And Haley, I'm glad you guys are here. Heidi, Crystal, love it. Love it. Okay. All right. Let me share my screen. For those of you who've been here before, it sounds like lots of you. Just be patient with me because I am good at lots of things, but technology kind of slows me down just a little bit, but I'm getting better. Okay. Slideshow. Where did it go? Oh, here it is. Got it. Okay. Okay. Can you see my screen? Oh, good. Love it, Michael. Love me some Orlando. Karen said she's not afraid of calling. I don't have call hesitancy. I call and email, but the leads aren't any good. Karen, I would challenge you. This is my favorite question to ask. I'm sure you're not the only person who feels like the leads aren't any good. But when you say that you're not afraid of calling and you don't have call hesitancy, how many times are you actually calling each lead? And I'm sharing this with you because, and I'm asking you this because it used to be about a 4% conversion rate. You guys need to understand these numbers. I think it will help you feel better about wherever you are in your business right now. When I first got in using the system, it was about a 4% conversion rate. Now I think it's about a 1 to 2% conversion rate. What does that mean? That means that you need about 100 leads to get 1 to 2 buyers if you're decent on the phones. Okay. 1 to 2 buyers out of 100 leads if you're decent on the phone, if you're consistent. Now, when it was about 4% conversion rate, I was at about a 9% conversion rate. Why? Because I am a relentless mother trucker who does not give up. And I will call and I will call and I will call again until you either block me or you like just completely somehow get rid of your account, which you can't do. Now, if people are unsubscribing, that it is not an unsubscription from a text or from a call, excuse me. It is not an unsubscription from a call. And when you call them, which you should still be calling them, you do not say, hey, I saw that you unsubscribed. You don't say anything about it. You just go in with the regular script that I'm about to go over with you. Okay. So there's that. Adriana, I'm sorry, I don't know what it was that you would like me to repeat. If you can give me like a little touch on something, then I can go back and repeat it for sure. Karen says, most of them tell me not to call them anymore and opt out. Do you think you could start doing the role play for the seller leads as well? Stephanie, I love that. We do go over that a little bit in Sync You. The seller leads are not that much different. And I'm trying to think. Yes, I can kind of give you an idea of what we have for that. I don't have the script right in front of me, but I know what I was saying, and I think it's pretty close to what we do. We like to keep everything as simple as possible and as close to everything. So Karen's saying most of them are telling her not to call anymore and opt out. Okay. Before I get into this, I want to know how many of you are tracking how many calls you're making every day. Now, if you're in Agent Blueprint, you should be doing this. If you're not in Agent Blueprint, you should still be doing this, especially if you're new and you're trying to figure out your conversion rates. How do you do it? You decide to start tracking because what's tracked can be measured. Okay. What's tracked can be measured. So you should be tracking. I use a tally. I'm old school. I tally. Does your system do it? Yes, it does. But I don't like the way it does it. It doesn't track everything. And I want to know real time what my numbers are. So I'm old school tallier on my sheet. And I have how many dials? Okay. How many dials? How many conversations? That means you're on the phone with somebody for 2 minutes or more, a conversation, right? How many appointments did you set? And how many hangups? Eventually, you don't need to track how many hangups, but in the beginning, especially, I would say hangups and opt outs as one, right? Because it's probably your opening line, if I had to guess. And I'm not like being mean. I'm just going to tell you guys like what you need to hear, not what you want to hear today. Are we here for that? Drop it in the chat. Yes, that's okay. Please. I should ask permission first, but if they unsubscribe with everything, they get pissed if you call. They don't know who you are, Karen, unless you've talked to them 3 times and they've asked you 3 times to stop. Or you can always just stop forcing it too. Like if you have somebody who asks you to stop calling, then give it a week before you try again. But it's probably because they're on 10 different sites. You guys have to realize that when someone is searching online for something, they're searching on multiple websites. Just like if you're looking for a specific couch at a furniture, like furniture stores, you usually go into like all kinds of furniture stores until you find the one you want, right? It's the same thing in real estate. All of these leads, they're looking for houses and they sign up on all these websites, but they don't know which one you're calling from. And that's why we don't say where we're calling from in the very first line. Okay. So let me keep going on this. How to get 9 buyers. Oh, 9% conversion rate. Yeah, that's just consistency and picking up the phone and calling. And I had nothing else to do. In the beginning, if you don't have clients, all you have is time, right? So how much time should you be spending making calls? As much free time as you have until you don't have any free time anymore, right? And then still you have your time blocked so that no matter what, every single day for at least a minimum of an hour, you're making dials, right? It's not how many dials you're making, it's how many appointments you're setting. And that's why it's important to track these things, you guys, okay? Yes, always tracking, love it. Still trying to figure out how to measure my weekly KPIs. Yeah, Joseph, the best way to do it is literally just keep it super simple. Also, John has a tracker in Agent Blueprint if you're on that, and it like has a whole algorithm and everything for the weekly KPIs. I don't have that today, but you can email training managers. Let's see. Training managers at thinkpro.com and ask them for a KPI record sheet. See if they'll send you one. Okay, what else? Let me see. Never used to track hangups, but now I'm doing it and it's remarkably low in comparison to the total dials. And usually they hang up before I even get past hello. Totally, Steven. That's the thing. And at that point, they just either know your sales or they are just not interested. Yes, this is being recorded, but you can find all the replays on synccommunity.com/webinars. And anything you need is at synccommunity.com, you guys, okay? Some of the numbers will ask you to leave a message without identifying the owner of the number or if the number is valid. I'm not sure I understand the question, Minnie. I consider that it's bad timing, keep trying, and sometimes I get through another time. Yes. And honestly, you guys, sometimes these people are frustrated in the beginning because you're calling and maybe they asked you not to call even. But the reality is I've had people actually end up working with me because I was so persistent. They were like, if you are this persistent on the phones to get me on the phone, I cannot imagine what you would do for me negotiating a house. Right. So while you may be coming from this place of, I don't like sales calls, so I don't want to make sales calls, you need to understand that you are not making sales calls. And if you are, it's going to come through the phone. It is commission breath. It is not what we're teaching you today. Okay. This has to be coming from a place of service. Otherwise, you're just any other realtor trying to make a sale. And everybody wants to buy something, but nobody wants to be sold. Nobody wants to be sold. So don't take what you feel because you get 100 calls about car warranties that you didn't sign up for and project it onto the people that you're calling. Energy is transferable. Okay. I know it sounds crazy, but if you don't believe it, you better start believing it because there's the person that's making multi-million dollars in your market is probably a total goober. And you probably don't even like that person because how can they do so well and you're over here awesome and so cool and why are you not doing that well? Because that person that's crushing it in your market does not give a about what the other person on the end of the phone is thinking. They're not going into the call thinking of a sale. They're going into it with, how can I be of service to this person who is potentially interested in purchasing or selling a home? Because an internet lead is a person, okay? An internet lead is just a person who may or may not be interested in buying or selling real estate. Are you guys tracking with me? Drop a yes in the chat, please. If this is too much, I'm sorry. I'm a little fired up. It's Monday, but like this is something I'm very passionate about because I've had success with this. And I'm sharing these things with you from like a personal level that literally you have to get out of your own way and stop making excuses. And if you call 5 people and they all hang up, that does not mean that all of your leads are bad. It also doesn't mean that you're bad. It just means that maybe it was the wrong day, the wrong time. Maybe you had the wrong mindset going into it. There's lots of different things that can be related to this. So please hear me when I say this is coming from a place of love because I want to see you succeed. I would not be on this live training team if I didn't. Okay. So it really is coming from a place of love. Mira is asking, do you still call again if they have a realtor? I give up, but maybe I shouldn't. I love that question. And Stacy, I agree. Never give up because Mira, buyers are usually liars. How many people have walked onto a car lot, a furniture store, or anywhere else that's selling something or an art gallery and you really are interested in purchasing something. You're just not ready to talk to somebody right now. So you automatically tell them as soon as they walk up to you that you're not interested, or, oh, I'm just looking, right? Oh, I'm just looking. But as soon as we're ready, we go and find that person because we finally found the couch or the car or the art or whatever it is. And then we're like, oh, actually, I am interested. Hey, can you tell me more about this one? And you go and you probably go and find the same person that respectfully appreciated your honesty by saying, like, hey, you know what? I am interested, but I just want to look around. If I find anything, I'll come and find you. That's what I always tell people. Right. But a lot of times that's the same thing that's happening here. Okay. People are interested, but they're not ready to commit to you yet because you haven't added any value yet. And you haven't built a like you haven't built a rapport. Okay. So you can ask them questions like if they signed a contract with that realtor. And if they haven't, then you can continue to contact them. But I don't ask if they have a realtor. I'm curious how many of you are asking people, ooh, sorry guys. How many of you are asking people if they have a realtor? That's funny, Brandy. You ask if they're dedicated to that realtor. I love it. Never ask. Yeah, never. Okay, good. I'm glad. I like that. So, first of all, Stephanie, I would not be having this on your first conversation about a buyer broker agreement. Like that is like trying to have, that's trying to go hit a home run on your first date. Like let's just maybe have a little kiss, like a little peck on the lips before we just go to home base, right? I don't talk about that on the very first call. That's why we're setting an appointment. We're going to set the appointment on those types of things. The thing is okay, let me see here. You shouldn't be asking if they have a realtor. Because most people are not going to come out and just say it. If they do, you can ask them if they signed a buyer broker agreement, but that's probably not going to do you any good. Because then if they're like in the line, you don't want to put somebody on the defense, right? You really don't want to. But I wouldn't ask them if they signed anything on the first call personally, because if they did, they're going to tell you, oh, I already have it. Like just because they say they have a realtor doesn't mean they have a buyer broker agreement signed. Chewy. Sorry, hold on. It doesn't mean that they have a buyer broker agreement. Can you guys hear that bark? It's like shrilling, and I'm so sorry about that. But if they do come out and tell you, then you can choose how far you want to push it. You can say, it's sometimes they say, oh, you can say, oh, that's awesome. I know a lot of the realtors in this area. Who are you working with? I try not to do that though. And if they actually do have someone, then they cut it off. Okay. We can keep going with questions and answers. I'm happy to do that, but we only have 29 minutes left, and I want to make sure that you guys got what you came for. So, are we ready to keep moving? And thank you, Tabitha, that you cannot hear my dog. I appreciate that. I was like, oh crap. Okay, great. So, quick 7 things. I'm going to go through this pretty quick because it looks like we only had a few new people. For you new people, you will not get a copy of these slides anywhere. So, if you guys see something that you want, go ahead and take a quick screenshot. You will have several seconds to do that. Here's the deal. When you are making a call, we are talking about the 7 things that you do not do in your opening line. Okay. That means this is someone that you've never talked to before. It is a brand new internet lead, or it could be also from Facebook, wherever you're getting your leads from, doesn't really matter. These are all going to be the same things that we are not going to be saying. Okay. So do not say, how are you doing, or respond with anything of that phrase. How many of you get sales calls and they ask you this and you're just like, oh my gosh, and you hang up right away? It's so frustrating. So frustrating. Like so annoying, right? And then I want to coach them. I'm like, no, you know what? Look, bro, I'm having the worst day of my life. And then they're like, oh, why? What's wrong? I'm like, you don't really want to know. What are you trying to sell me? Just get to the point, right? Because I want to hear, like, what are they trying to sell? But that's just me. I'm telling you right now, don't ask them how they're doing. You don't know them. They don't know you. They don't trust you. It's irrelevant. And what if it's the worst day of their life? Are you gonna be there and spend an hour to talk them through it? No. That is not worth your time. Okay. It's not the best use of your time. I shouldn't say it's not worth your time, but it's probably not the best use of your prospecting time. So don't ask them how they're doing. Second one is do not introduce yourself with your company's brokerage name. This isn't a secret. You're not hiding it. This is just the very opening line, the first thing that's coming out of your mouth when you're making a call. Okay. And you're not going to say the company brokerage name that you're with. It is irrelevant. It doesn't matter. You don't know their previous experience with that company or that or not. You don't have to say your company's name. I know that you love your company. I also love my company. That is great. You can talk about it later, but it doesn't need to be in the opening line. Capiche? Okay. Number 3, do not say their name. Anybody know why we're not saying their name? Ooh, it's 333. Don't say their name. Because what if it's the wrong name? Immediately you've given them an out. Oh, that's not me. I'm not that person. Right? Exactly, Stacy. That's great. That's right, Stephen. So we don't say their name. We just don't. Then you can't pronounce it wrong. It doesn't matter. They have no reason to hang up. And it sounds really weird when someone you don't know says your name. It's like a voice that you don't know and they say your name and it's like, you know, immediately it's a sales call and it gives you that feeling, right? Oh my gosh, sometimes I crack myself up. Sorry. It does, but it feels weird when somebody's voice says your name and you don't know who they are, especially on the phone. Um, I'm going to tell you, don't worry, Adriana, hang in there. It's coming. Steven said I had one this morning who answered to my opening, said she didn't sign up. It was her sister. Oh, all right. Well, that happens too. You're like, wow, does your sister live in this area? Oh, yeah, actually, she does. So it sounds like she might want you to move there, huh? Are you interested in potentially moving there? And then you can start a whole nother conversation and it might even lead back around. Who knows? You never know. But don't say their name. Number 4, do not say, I saw you registered or signed up on my site. It is creepy. And it gives them the automatic opportunity to say, no, I didn't. It wasn't me. I didn't do that. Right. So do not say that you saw that they registered or signed up on your site. Mark just asked if they ask, how did you get my number? Do you simply regress to the script and state that we noticed you were looking at homes? Yeah, totally. And if he asks again, be like, you know what? I always just am honest because honesty is the best policy. And I will say, you know what, George, or whatever, don't say their name. Sorry, just kidding. Don't say the name. If they say, how did you get my number? Hey, were you looking at some real estate online somewhere? I hate to tell you this, but like anytime you put phone number into a website and all of your information so you can see a property, that's us realtors trying to get a hold of you. And that's how I got your number. That's how we are able to work with so many different people is because we are capturing people's information and then we're following up. So yeah, I'm very honest. And then I say, and then when they start getting like frustrated, I'm like, look, you can keep getting calls and keep registering on another 10 or 15 sites or whatever you want. You're welcome to do that. Or we can just kind of cut the crap and let me see what I can do to help you. So, were you looking for 3 or 4 bedrooms, right? Or tell me a little bit more about your current situation and just be a freaking human. That's it. You guys, we are so we're getting so far from human to human contact, right? Like all this AI stuff is so great, but at the end of the day, like you're trying to have a conversation with a human. And if you can't have a conversation with a human, you're not going to sell them anything. There is no conversion without a conversation, you know? So, like, just remember that when you're making these calls, it's really, really important. Say that again, what you'd say when they register. Oh, I didn't give you that yet. I didn't give you the opening line yet. I'm just telling all the things not to do. So don't say you saw that they registered or signed up on the site. Okay. Does everybody have you're okay with this slide? Can I go on to the next one? I'm going on to the next one in 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Thank you, Adriana. Okay, so number 5, do not say is there anything I can help you with? Okay. 86% of buyers, and honestly, the statistic is probably more than that at this point, but 86% of buyers don't think that you understand their problem. Okay. So if they don't think that you understand their problem or what they're actually looking for, because so many realtors are hobbyists, okay, they're not the CEOs. You guys are CEOs, but most realtors are not. So because of that, most buyers and sellers don't think that their agent understands them. So they don't believe that you can help them in any way because they haven't had a good experience yet, because they haven't had the pleasure of working with you. Okay. So don't ask them, is there anything I can help you with? You need to add value to them first. You need to add value first, because if somebody's coming at me at the furniture store and they want me to buy something, I didn't find what I wanted. And 2, like, I don't know you, lady. Like, let me see if I even like something. Then let me see if you can add some value. Right? You got to add value first. Don't ask them if there's anything you can help them with in the opening line. Okay. Number 6, do not come in with an assumption of the lead. This is a really big one, guys. Like, do not assume based on what they registered looking for that they can or can't afford your market. You don't know their situation. You don't know if they are an investor who dropped to zero. You don't know if there's somebody that has never been in the area before, so they have no context of what the market could be worth there. And they just want to see, what can I get for like under 200 in my area? You can hardly even get like a piece of land in my area for that. But I'm still going to call that person, because what if it's an investor that's looking to buy, they've got $2 million to spend. You just don't know. You cannot assume anything about the leads. Okay. And then the 7th one is, do not get in a fight on the phone. Do not get in a fight on the phone. What do I mean by that? We don't know what's happening with, yeah, well, yes, don't well, you know what, Stacy, you can match people's energy. So if someone's cussing at you, you can cuss at them back. I fully am okay with that personally, but yes, Sunny's right. Just don't argue. This is kind of one of those things where, if you're not here to convince anybody or change anyone's beliefs. So if you're getting a lot that the interest rates are still too high, or that people are waiting for the market to drop, it's okay. It's not for you to change their mind. It's not for you to try and convince them to date the rate, marry the house, or whatever that whole saying is. Or, you don't need to change their mind or change their beliefs. You need to be able to have a conversation with them and go back to what is the real reason. And it's not that, because buyers are liars. And usually the first thing that they lie about is not the truth. And we always want to go back to their why. Why are they interested in purchasing in this area to begin with? Right? So we'll go over that too. All right. So is this all making sense? Drop a yes in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and go on to the opening line so that we can make sure that we have enough time to go through that. Okay, great. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. So this is our opening line. And I know Steven's been using it. I know when he came to our training, he was not necessarily using it. I think he was using something a little bit different. And I'm curious, Steven, only asking him because he was here just recently. Do you feel like you're getting better with this and you're setting more appointments because you've gotten a little bit better at the script? I'm kind of putting him on the spot. Sorry about that. Great. See, he says yes. Now, I did not pay him to do that. He just is sharing out of the goodness of his heart. And it is because this does work. If you have any unbelief in your heart right now, I ask you to listen to this with an open mind. And please understand that, again, like everything else that we've been saying, you have got to become the observer of your thoughts, the observer of the energy that you are projecting through the phone. Okay. And realize that if you do not believe this script is going to work, it will not work. It won't. If you don't believe in it, it will not work. But if you do believe in it, if you can actually get out of your head, get out of your own way, and get to a place where this is coming out of your mouth like immediately and smoothly and sounds just like Leah or Cora or Steven, then I promise you this script will change your life. Steven said this is a substantial paradigm shift for most people, but it's well worth taking the time to make it work for you. Thank you for sharing that because I agree. I agree. This is not just something that we threw together and some sales team, in Arkansas put together and said, hey, try this, see if it works. Guys, we have been perfecting this over the last 8 years. We know that it works. Okay. So I need you to believe in it too. And I promise you, if you go into this with an open mind, you go into it practicing a few minutes every day, you go into it without any sort of excuses on why you can't practice because you don't have a partner, you don't need a partner. Okay. You don't need a partner. You can say this opening line over and over and over and over and over again until it sounds like you. If you're reading it, it's going to sound like you're reading it. It's going to sound like a script. But if you believe that learning a script can actually sound like you, then you will be able to use this to start conversations that will create conversion, which will put money in your pocket, which is why you are selling real estate. Yes or yes? Okay. This is the opening line. It's very simple. I'm going to read it to you so you hear like what it sounds like if you're reading it. If you have not screenshotted this, go ahead and screenshot it now. Hi, this is Christine with the Home Search site. I noticed you were looking at some homes in Naples. Just curious, are you looking to make a move in the next few months or are you just browsing? I'm reading it. You can tell I'm reading it. The cadence is off. It doesn't sound like me. Nothing sounds like me today because my voice is all jacked up, but you get the point, right? How many people are getting just browsing? Just drop it in the chat. A 1 if you're getting just browsing and you don't know what to do. You're like, oh shit, well, they're just browsing, they're just looking, right? Great. Another person is just looking. Everyone is going to say that. They're not ready for you yet. And that's okay. That's why we're giving them an A or a B answer. Right. Exactly, Crystal. They're always just browsing until they find the house they want. And then they're like, oh my gosh, I want this house. What do I do? Hopefully you catch them before that moment. That's why it's so important to be able to come at them and say, perfect. That's exactly what this site is for. While I have you, what's prompted you to browse? Okay. So this is it. All right. What do we have here? Cora said, I just started with sync and one said just browsing and the other said I'm working with to find a home. Way to go, Cora. That's amazing. And you've been using this script? Just curious. Great. That's great. That's excellent. I used to, when I got just browsing, I used to think, oh my gosh, well, what the heck am I supposed to do? Until I went to Sync You and I was like, oh, yeah, now I get it. And now I'm the same thing happens for me, Cora. So I'm so excited for you. Okay. So what does this actually sound like when I'm doing it? Now, first of all, I want you guys to understand that like this is the bike. Okay. This is the bike. Now it's your opportunity to add your streamers, add those little spoke like decorations, add a fancy, basket on your bike, or a card so it makes the flapping noise. If you guys ever did any of those things, thank you. Me too. It was fun. But I want you to understand totally, Steven. I'm totally a 90s kid. Born in the 80s, but like grew up in the 90s. So what's really cool though is that because of that, you get to make this what you want, but keep it the same. So listen to what it sounds like for me. Hey there, this is Christine for your home search site. I noticed you were looking at some homes over in the Naples area and I was just curious. Are you looking to make a move in the next few months or are you just browsing? What do you think about that? I added some things that were different. I know a lot of you are probably um, thinking that I said some other words that are not on here, but it kind of sounded like me, didn't it? It was my tone too. Thanks, Stacy. I appreciate that. The energy and the personality comes through. I'm smiling. Even if you couldn't see me, you would know that I was smiling when I said that. Karen says she changes it up a little bit sometimes. I like that. Sounded like a real person, Cora. That is the point. And the energy is fire, right? Because I am coming with a energy of how can I serve you? I don't sound like I'm trying to sell you something at this point, right? And honestly, I never try and sell people. Karen says, just curious, do you want to tour some homes or are you just browsing? That is not what our script is this, and that's what we stick to. Again, this isn't something I use. This is something that we have thousands, like we've had over 15,000 people use this script. So we're sticking to this one. You're welcome to do whatever works for you, Karen. There's no wrong, but this is the rightest right that we have. So I'm going to give this to you again. Hey there, this is Christine with your home search site. Hey, I noticed you were looking at some homes over here in Naples, and I'm just curious. Are you looking to make a move in the next few months, or are you just browsing? Right? We're just browsing. Well, you know what? That's perfect because that's exactly what the site is for. While I have you, what's prompted you to browse? I'm curious. I'm curious, right? You have got to make yourself interesting. People love to talk about themselves, right? Like when people ask you a question that someone else doesn't normally ask you, don't you kind of think to yourself, wow, nobody's ever asked me that. And you want to tell them everything they want to know. Like I have been sold before just because the person was so good on the phone. So good on the phone, right? So when they say just browsing, which is what you are leading them to, you know that they're going to say they're just looking, they're just browsing, right? Perfect. That is exactly what the site is for. While I have you, what's prompted you to browse? Now you have an opportunity to have a conversation. Are we good with this? Do you have questions about this opening line? We've got 10 minutes left, so I want to make sure I get to touch on at least the conversation part. Okay, great. Yeah, Adriana, I'm glad that makes more sense now. That's good. And Cora, I agree. They're not ready to tour the homes. They'll let you know when they are. Okay, so we know what to say. This is our opening line. You have 3 seconds to screenshot this, and I'm moving on to the next. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so now here's the deal. If you do not know their why, you are going to have a lot harder time working with this person. You've got to figure out what is their why, and it is always going to be one of two things. It's either going to be a pain or it's going to be a pleasure. Okay. They're either moving because they're excited because they're retiring and they want to be closer to their friends, or they could be bursting at the seams because they are living in a 1-bedroom apartment. They already have 2 kids and a dog, and they've got another kid on the way, and they work from home and they need more space. That's kind of a painful place to be. You think that person needs to find something, right? This is really important. Find out what is their pain or their pleasure. And you're always going to want to go 3 whys deep in a conversational manner. Okay. You have to make this into a conversation. It cannot be an order taking situation. We've all been in the service industry at one point or another, likely. If you haven't, good for you. But if you have, you know that taking an order, if you make it a conversation, you're going to have a bigger tip. And if you just take the order and walk away, you're just going to get a bare minimum, right? Your personality is going to make a huge difference. It is no different in real estate. It is no different in having a conversation with somebody online. Okay. Karen said, asking if they want to tour homes work for Zillow. How do you know they aren't ready? Karen, this is not about Zillow leads. So if that works for you on Zillow, go for it. We're just talking about sync leads today. Thank you. So I don't know anything about Zillow leads. We're just talking about the sync leads and how we have our opening line and the conversations that we teach. So 3 whys for every what? Find the pain or the pleasure, and then use those A and B questions again to have conversations. So if you're talking to somebody who it is like pulling teeth to have a conversation with, make sure you're using A or B questions. And then follow up with something like, tell me about your current situation. So if somebody says, hey, you know what? I'm really looking for, you ask them, are you looking for 3 or 4 bedrooms? Oh, you know what? We really need 4 bedrooms. Instead of moving on to the next question, stay in there for a minute. Tell me about your current situation. This is how we find out if it's a pain or a pleasure. They're going to tell you, oh, you know what? We've got 2 kids and a dog already living in a 1-bedroom apartment, and we're pregnant with our twins. We're going to need more space. That is a pleasure, or excuse me, that is a pain. Now you know how important it is for them to find it. Oh, wow. And now you can say, if you have kids, you can connect with them. Oh, I have a dog too. What kind of dog do you have? Right? Find different ways to connect with them. Okay. That's all this is about. There is no conversation without connection. There is no conversion without conversation. Connect, conversate, convert. It's that simple. Okay. Can you please put in the chat where I can go for the recorded webinars? Yes, at the end, I will share that with you. We have 7 minutes left. I want to keep going. Do you guys feel good about these questions and how to really have these conversations? Are we ready to figure out how do we set the appointment? I want to make sure we have enough time for that, because I think a lot of people, if you're in real estate, you're probably pretty good at having conversations, right? The conversations is not the problem. It's just getting the appointment set. Yeah. Okay. Let's keep going. But remembering always that we are listening to understand, not to respond. Okay. Cora, no, you will not get a copy of this PowerPoint, but I will give you another resource at the end. So we're listening always to understand, not to respond. If you listen to respond, you will not hear the answer to the question that you just asked. Remember that. If you're not listening to understand, you're not going to hear the answer to the question that you just asked, because you're thinking about the question that you want to ask next. Don't do that. Don't cut your knee off at the foot or whatever. Okay. Now, find your who, what, where, and why. This is really easy. Have the conversation flow. What are they looking for? Why are they looking for it? Listen, extract information, right? Listen, extract information, build the conversation by connecting. Connect, find a connection point. You hear a dog bark in the background. You hear a baby cry in the background, right? Ask questions, find somewhere to connect, right? Create the conversation. Go 3 whys deep. That's how you're going to convert. Yes, it is connect, conversate, and convert. Yes, thank you, Joseph. I appreciate that. Okay. Now, you have to remember, you guys, closing is not a technique, okay? It's an attitude. So you have to be confident that you are the authority in your industry, in your market. You need to know that because you're the authority, you should be leading your client to the next steps. Okay. They are looking to you to be the professional, to lead them, to guide them, because you do this full time for a living. They buy a house once every 3 to 5 years, right? So you are the professional, you have to act like it. And what does that mean? That means using something very simple like this to set an appointment. Okay. So you've had a good conversation, and now like that you'll just know when it's time. And you'll say, hey, you know what? The next step in the process is actually super simple. Let's just set up a quick 15-minute meeting. This way we can share with you our strategy. And I'm going to bring a list of handpicked homes. What works better for you? Tuesday or Friday? You guys, this changed my life. And probably I would say 80% of the time, this works, because people don't want to be sold, but they do want to buy. Okay. And this is such an easy way to show your authority, that you are professional and you're leading them down like the process of what it's going to look like to work with you. Okay. So you had the conversation, you already know a bunch of information, and you just say, hey, you know what? The next step in the process is super simple. Let's just set up a quick 15-minute meeting. This way we can share with you our strategy. And I'm going to bring a list of handpicked homes. What works better for you, Tuesday or Friday? What I like about this is, if you've ever had a first day out with clients and it was a total bomb because you thought you knew what they wanted, and then you got out there and they hated everything they saw, Doing this and sharing homes with them on a screen share on a Zoom will change your business. You will never have a day like that again. Reagan said, I've used this appointment line at open houses and with referrals, and people really appreciate it. Yeah, I love that feedback, Reagan. Thank you so much for sharing that. It's really helpful. I think it really helps our peers see that it does work. If at this point they begin referencing that they want to speak with their partner, that can happen too. Just make sure that you set up the appointment for whatever works for both of them is a really great way to do it. And then Karen, I love this question. Where are you meeting them? I typically do either a coffee shop if it's in person, or I really like to meet people on Zoom because a lot of people don't want to drive all over town. The traffic is horrible, even if they're local, but a lot of my market is out of state, if I'm being honest. So most like 95% of my meetings are done on Zoom. Joseph, need to make sure they have spoken with a lender of some sort. That is all the kind of things that you're going to find out on this call. Okay, guys, on this, excuse me, not this call, at this appointment, you're going to find out all of these things, right? This is your time to say, and it's probably going to be longer than 15 minutes, guys. Karen, try and meet strangers at your office or at a coffee shop. Yes, always, always, always be safe. Office is virtual. Okay. Then Karen, I would do everything either in a coffee shop or on Zoom. Okay. Now, here's the deal. Mark, I don't know the number of that because I'm not tracking how successful the appointments are if conducted via phone, but there's 5 levels of communication. And it is email, text, call, Zoom, in person, right? So we always want to move forward in levels of communication. We don't want to go backwards or stay the same. We always want to go at least one forward. So if you set the appointment via phone, you really want to get them on either a FaceTime or a Zoom. And the reason behind that is how you're going to get that connection. That is, anybody can be a voice on the other end of the phone or a name on the bottom of an email. But if you guys can get in front of these people, you have I don't know what the statistic is, I should probably look it up, but you have a significantly greater chance of working with that client if you can get in front of them, like on camera. They can see your face. Okay. So I would definitely try and get them on a Zoom or meet them in person. If you have to do a FaceTime, that's okay, but it's going to be harder for you to do a screen share, I think, on FaceTime. I don't know. I've never done it. So, okay. Susanna says she doesn't set appointments without a pre-approval or proof of funds. That's fine. I'm fine doing that because I can always set them up with my people if they don't have that yet. And I have the opportunity to have that conversation on why it's important to have that, all of those things during that appointment, but that's your prerogative. It's totally fine. Okay, so it's 4 o'clock. If you want, I'll give you another couple of minutes here because I would like to give you this clarity close. If for some reason this doesn't work and they're kind of giving you some pushback, you can try this one too. And just say, listen, hey, I totally get it. I just want to make sure that you have the right person with the right strategy for the right time. Does that sound fair? Gosh, I guess that does kind of sound fair. Okay, great. So what works better for you, Tuesday or Friday? Okay. So I hope this was super helpful. If you have any questions, you can drop them in the chat now. I'm going to drop one other link in here. If you guys have a minute, I would really appreciate it. You can leave me a review, a little plug for me there on our Reach 150. And then again, somebody asked me for recordings. Where can you find that? You're going to find them right here on this site. You'll be able to find all of our webinars and recordings. The other resource, if you send me an email, do not drop your email. Actually, I'm going to put it here. Do not drop your email in trainingmanagers@syncpro.com. Do not drop your email in. You can email trainingmanagers@syncpro.com and ask them for the cheat sheet. You can just say cheat sheet. And they will send you a cheat sheet because you will not get a copy of these slides. I hope this was super helpful. It is always my pleasure to be here with you each week. And for those of you I get to see in person in our live events, that is always my favorite. Make it a great week. If you have questions or if you need me, you can find me. It's just right above training managers at syncpro.com. You can find me at christine.dunn@syncpro.com. That's my email. Also, if you have questions, I'm always happy to help. I just want to see you guys succeed. There's nothing that makes me feel better than other people having success alongside me. So have a great week, and I will hopefully see all of you soon at some point. And if you can, leave me a review.